See what that looks like. Oh, look at that. I really want to see what that rubber tube does. The nature of carburetors is you got to be overall rich to make everything happy. What I care about is that it lasts in 4,500 horsepower. It flows when it's 30 degrees and flows correctly when it's 200 degrees. And hey everybody, this is 400 cubic inch, small block Chevy, twin torque storm superchargers, 2 tune-ups, so a pump gas setup and a race gas setup, carbureted. Now, we've already been dynoing this thing, we've already got some testing on this, and we are working on this carburetor. See here? Interesting. We're gonna explain and show you all that stuff in the video coming up. And we're also testing superchargers, different size superchargers for the torque storm guys. So anyways, let's get right after this. We're out here, I already started up, already got it warmed up, and I ran it through a little bit of load just to help seat the rings, do all that kind of stuff, and then to get the dyno caught up to where the dyno needs to be, because it learns basically after the first go around. So I think we got everything set there, and now we're super low on timing. C16 fuel, so it should be a good place to just kind of start the test out at. And we'll do a short pull, probably just like the 5,000, 5,500 RPM. Come look at our boost level, see where we're at there. And I took out their tune-up information, and then go and look at spark plugs, make sure everything's all right. So the normal dyno test procedure, especially for blow-through carburetor stuff, just do some short pulls, a little bit longer, etc. And I do have the O2 sensor working. Kyle got it all figured out on what I had wrong on the O2 sensor for this dyno. So let's make a hit here and we'll see what it looked like. All right, now you can see there, that's our first, that was just me loading a dyno. Now here's what you just did. Now all this information, let's get this a little bit better. That's actually nice looking right through there. So now this is, I mean, that's a 956 at only 5,700 RPM. So that's looking good. Let's go to our results table, our AFR, getting lean. So we're gonna have to throw some fuel at it, that's for sure. Oil pressure is looking real good. Fuel pressure is fine. Boost is fine. That's actually, 12 pounds of boost there at only 57. So that's starting to go up nicely. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I gotta go in after the carburetor and add some fuel into this thing, and more in that higher RPM area or into the boost area. So see how we're gonna make all that happen. And now that we've made a nice couple little pulls, everything's settled in. It went from brand new stuff to now it should be fairly well settled in. I always like to take the covers off, go in and do a valve lash on it, just make sure everything's all cool and see if anything's moved. Now here is a time that checking valve lash is probably setting valve lash, because it went from new to it's been run, it's been under load, haven't gotten full RPM yet or anything like that, but good enough that it is settled in and things move and the valve job settles in, and so things will change a little bit. And after this valve lash setting, we should not have to really do anything other than checking after that. So I'll take the covers off this thing. We'll get after this. Now you can see this has a set of billet small block Chevrolet covers. But you need to check out our other set. This is a set from Sean. So Sean Custom Alloy does these for us, but we're also doing them ourselves differently. So check these things out, because these things are bad. Check this out. All right, now check this out with billet covers and your choice of ProWorks caps in any color you'd like. Oh, that'd be cool. Actually, any of these colors look good. So the ProWorks guys, go to our website for anything you want from ProWorks. They have all this super cool chassis stuff, from steering wheels to chassis components to silhouette, rack and pinions. They got a lot of stuff, amazing amount of stuff over there. Go to the website, click on the link, takes you over there, and you can see that. But check that out. Wouldn't that be cool right there? You got red. Can't get those in any other color, although that might look cool, wouldn't it? This would maybe look cool if we could anodize that. Like, oh, I don't know. It is super cool. But anyways, we are making new covers for new engines all the time. We're working on Chrysler covers right now. 3 small block Chrysler, not a Gen 3 Hemi, old school Chrysler. 440 Mopar, you know, BRB, that type cylinder head, the small block Chrysler head. We're working on small block Ford for like Kyle's stuff. And big block Ford, we have those right now. So we got some really cool stuff. Big block Chevrolet, small block Chevrolet, big block Ford, Pontiac, and we're working on some other stuff. But I'm really excited about the way that looks. I think that is fantastic. Fantastically cool. I like it with, you like it with the red cap the most? I like the red the best. I like red. Even turns to have the ProWorks. Perfect. How about that? Check that out. That worked out great. And right there, that's drop dead nice. So make sure you go to the website, check these out. We're gonna put a link right down below, but you can see it right here. Just go to the website and go to parts, and you're gonna see custom billet valve covers. And we can engrave your logo in here. We could do whatever you'd like to do, and that's what we're doing, is custom for you, for your engine.
Made in USA.
Yeah, this is made, I guarantee you where this is made. It's made right freaking here in this shop. So it's pretty cool. So anyways, that is awesome. Now, something that you might want to notice is look at the green. Why is this green? Because I don't have enough of my blue oil yet, the SM oil, because this is GP1. So this is driven GP1 2050. My oil will go directly in with this. GP1 2050 is awesome. I believe what we're going to find out is with the other additive packages, the SM oil is more awesomer. How about that? You like that, Nate?
More awesomer. Yeah.
More awesomer. But I don't have enough oil to do all the engines yet. But we are going to be recommending it. Everything's looking good so far. So we'll go to the other side, and then we're going to take the carburetor the bowls off of this and see what's all going on in here, what we have for jetting, and what's in it for power valve circuitry. Pro Systems carburetor does it just a slightly bit differently. I might even call Patrick up and ask him some questions. $96. Obviously, can go to $99. And a 78 with power valve. That's a pretty big split. Oh, Nate pointed at me and told me what the problem was. I forgot to hook up a line. Now, this is actually a little bit interesting. I forgot, and of course then it fell and then it burned it off. To hook up the boost reference, I'm sorry, the blow-off valves. Now, when you unhook the blow-off valves like that, they have to have reference pressure in order to stay closed. So they open up at about 10 or so pounds of boost. Now this is actually interesting. I'll show you this one. This is the horsepower and torque of the pull we just made. Now, we're richer, okay? That's fine. Don't really care. As a matter of fact, we're richer here by real light blue 11.71 to 12.2. So about half a point ratio. But that's really not the big deal. But what we are looking at here is, look at how much horsepower less I was making right there. Green line to red line. I'm sorry, red is torque, my bad. Red is torque, 810 foot-pounds of torque to 707. But look at boost. Boost was 9 pounds. It was now 7.24 pounds. So that's just that valve being disconnected. And look how much horsepower. And if we would have just went down like this, it would have just kept on going. Honestly, it would have been getting even worse, because then we're dumping all the air off. It would actually be worse than just losing boost. It would be boost plus parasitic drive loss. Now I expect this to be probably, I just want to get the fuel curve a little bit better so that we can put a little more timing back in it. All right, so I was watching my AFR and it looked lean, so we're gonna have to go in here and check this all out and see what's going on. Okay, well, actually, it looks like it actually made better horsepower. That's interesting, which it should actually. All right, so here's what you can see. It actually picked up everywhere, with still with no timing in it. But it's got, I'm glad I don't have any timing in it, because this is, you know, up here at 6,300 RPM and 1,116 horsepower. But see down here, this thing's making 15 pounds of boost right there. My AFR though is still went to 13.59 right there. So I'm glad I just pulled back short and quick. It was still, you know, doesn't get hurt up there. It's got really tolerant fuel and no timing in it. The tolerant fuel is C16. So we come in here and I said, okay, I'll call Patrick, because I threw a bunch of jet at it and the jet didn't do much. So in the Pro System carburetor, see, it only gained, so it went from 13.3 in the same exact area to 13.1. So not very much for throwing 4 to 5 jet actually all the way on the front, and 3 in the back, 3 in the back, 5 in the front. That's a pretty minimal change right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a tube going across the vent tubes, and let me show you why. So what happens is air will come across these vent tubes, especially this vent tube. Air goes right across it, and instead of pressurizing the bowl, it actually sucks fuel out of the bowl. Now, when it sucks fuel out of the bowl, actually it's kind of a misnomer. It actually isn't sucking fuel out of the bowl. It would actually be sucking pressure out of the bowl. Basically, it's doing the same thing as taking fuel away from it. It's making it leaner because it's taking air pressure away from the bowl. As air pressure goes away from the bowl, it has less ability to overcome the pressure here, because the pressure here is less. If it makes any type of vacuum going across here, it puts a slight vacuum or less pressure here in the bowl versus in the Venturi. When it does that, it won't flow as much fuel. But it's not sucking fuel out, because if it sucked fuel out, it would just be rich. So we're gonna put a hose across this and then notch the hose, and what that should do is it interrupts the signal. Now the worst case scenario is you end up putting tubes that go up and then all the way forward with brake line, so it goes up and forward. But we're gonna try this first and see if it'll fix it and take care of it. If not, we put those tubes in it, and that's all just to make the bowl vent properly so it doesn't have vacuum. It always has to have as much pressure here as it does here. Has to. All right, so what you can see here is We've connected these two tubes together. The only point of connecting these two tubes together is no point. All we're doing is trying to make the opening for these vent tubes not right. Like, here's your vent tube, here's air. Okay, now with this hose up here, air's like going past it, doesn't do anything, kind of is up here. So it usually will fix this signal quite a bit, but you have to put the holes in there. If you just connect these two vent tubes together, it won't even get past idle. It'll just, because it shuts the fuel right off, because then there would be no added pressure to the bowl. Yes, still has film. It's just a film. All right, so I'm actually anticipating that this will be interesting to test. So you see the air fuel ratio, what it was, added jet, pretty almost identical, very, very close. Now just adding this rubber tube, see what it does. Interestingly enough, I'm gonna say not much. Because I saw it still really high. And I just pulled back on the throttle because I saw that it was high. Now what I'm really looking for here is oh yeah.
Is boost hooked up?
Oh dang it.
Didn't remind you.
You did not remind me to hook up the hose, Nate. What the crap? That's exactly what happens. I'm glad I just pulled back quick. So let's go in there and I'll show you exactly what happened. So Nate forgot to tell me to hook up the hose. When this hose right here at a blow-through carburetor is not hooked up to the boost reference regulator, it cannot reference fuel. So as soon as it gets past the point of fuel pressure, air pressure into the bowl and into the carburetor exceeds the fuel pressure, no fuel goes into the carburetor. So let's go back and hit this thing. Now, thankfully I'm looking at it and watching that whole thing happen. So I just pull back on the throttle early. All right, definite difference. All right, let's take a look at our numbers here. Power, 1155, 6,500 RPM. Now before at 6,300 RPM, we have 15.9, and now we are 12.7. So we've dropped one fuel air ratio point. Let's look at this in comparison to the one before that, not the one where I left the fuel line off of it. And we can see here 13.53. So this is all on the same RPM, 6,200 RPM to 12.66. So it's only almost one air fuel ratio point richer. So all that is looking pretty good right through there. I think what we're going to do in order to make a flatter fuel curve through here is, I think we are going to put tubes on it. And I'll show you how we have to actually physically make a little 3/8 brake line tube that goes forward, and I'll show you that real quick. All right, so where we're at here now is we've added the tubes. This is what the tubes look like. So we had the tube that just went across that was made a full 1 point of air, almost 1 full point of air fuel ratio richer just by making that tube over here. And now this, you see I put a little flared end on each one. You could make them the same length, but it doesn't seem to really matter in experience. It hasn't seemed to matter. Then we can just leave these up here. We could tie this together. I guess you could put it together with a, I don't even know what I would actually honestly put that together with, because we'll see how this actually fits in the hat. Everything here is too big. to get down into the throttle body. This whole tube can't go down there. This piece of rubber tube can't go down there. None of it's going to be able to go. I mean, it just ain't going to happen. It's tight. Everything's on there really good. The only thing we could do is possibly, clamp this together somehow with like a hose clamp. But then, gosh, then the hose clamp could come off. So, just really not interested in doing that. It's not like you're going to tape it together. Not going to zip tie it together.
Weld them together?
Oh, my gosh, you're killing me, Nate. I probably could weld them together. That's really hard to do. That's really thin aluminum to weld together, but it is possible. Dang it, Nate. Now you said that. I'll probably
I mean, that's the only thing that would keep them.
I'll probably do that. We probably will get in here and weld that together. That is, that's like pretty close to, that's like next stage up from welding a pop can together. But it's doable. Let's test it first, okay? And we'll show you exactly what's going on so we can get on through our tuning. Because I can do that later. Because the other problem is if CJ is gonna end up redirecting it, well then me welding it doesn't do any good, So it probably actually could, if you take a look through there, that's what it's looking like. Okay. And you can bend and reshape these things, but usually we like to have them up there in the upper part of the stream, right up in here. That's the normal place that you'd like to have that. So let's go ahead and put that together. Got the nut and washer on there. There we go. And we'll put the tube on it, and let's go out there and make a pull on this thing. Alrighty, so that looked like it really fixed the air-fuel ratio. Let's take a look real quick. Now I think we're looking at a couple things. I'd like to, this has definitely gotten that richer again. We'll bring up the previous one with just the tube. So same spot, 1279, went down to 1221. Alright, so that's not bad, and it doesn't sound, it sounds pretty decent down through here. Let's look at power to power. A little bit less there, a little bit less here, but it was probably richer. Yeah, we were at 12.1 to 12.7. So that's probably why it makes a little more horsepower up there. Not a big deal. Let's go look at our spark plug and see what that's telling us now. So we're safe. We're definitely safe rich. Like to have that fuel curve flatter. I need to talk to Patrick about that. I don't mind having it rich on in the area where it goes up on the trans brake, or really rolling into it hard before peak torque. That's pretty common to have something a little richer right there. Not a problem. And then trying to fine tune it through peak torque, which peak torque on this thing is all the way at, it honestly, it makes peak torque up here at 6,300 or 6,400, 6,700, sorry. At 6,700, it's making peak torque. So that's a pretty broad, flat deal. So anywhere in this area, that's pretty nice. I'm not disappointed in that. Would like it to be a little bit flatter, but that's okay. Let's go in there, and I think we're gonna probably end up having to add some timing. So now we'll read the plug real quick. Spark plugs. These are spark plugs here. We can see actually it looks rich, which it is a little rich, especially this number 1 spark plug up here. Short on timing. You can see the black line right there in the strap. Black line on the strap. That one looks better. That one's got a big black line on the strap. And overall, the plugs definitely just have a rich look, especially on that number 1, 2, and 8. Now, the nature of carburetors is you have to make You got to be overall rich to make everything happy. Oh, overall rich. Ching, to make everything happy.
Oh.
You got to be overall rich to make everything happy here. And so some cylinders are just flat out going to be rich, and other cylinders in order to maintain, because there is no individual cylinder control. It is not like multi-port fuel injection. Believe it or not, it's weird. And it's impossible really to make it that way. Very, very, very astronomically hard to make every runner exactly the same in a single blow-through carburetor application. In fact, I don't think it's actually possible. But anyways, so they're bringing the blowers back at first thing in the morning. So we're going to test and go back and test this. And I'm going to still add just a couple degrees of timing. But the engine looks great. Everything looks safe. I think we want to be in that 1,500 horsepower range on C16. So we're going to get, probably have to turn the blowers up just a little bit more. And then to do that. And then we'll go probably go back down to be in the pump gas. So he wants to have two different tune-ups. So it'll be a race gas and then a pump gas. So since we're at a little pause, let's go over and answer questions about the oil video that we just had out on Tuesday. All right, so we had common questions about the new oil. So I'm gonna try to answer some of your questions. Nate, go ahead.
People are asking if they could put this stuff in their daily driver cars.
Probably not. If you don't put a 2050 or thicker oil in your car right now, you're probably not going to. It is not really gonna work well because it's too thick, and we're not gonna make a lightweight oil because we'll get to that point of why we made this, or I didn't make anything, why I had this oil made, and it was not to run in your stock bottom LSs with hydraulic roller lifters. It's not to run in your VVT equipped cars, Gen 3 Hemis, LSs, LTs, whatever. It's not. Full race versions of it that you would normally run like a 2050 solid roller stuff, yes.
Cold flow, hot flow.
The whole reason why we made this, you guys, you're because I just thought something was really cool and showed you the example of, oh, look at that, that's just really neat. When I showed you that, I understand what's going on. The entire point of this was the 25. We made, or had this oil made for cold flow. This car right here, and every drag and drive car out there, has to go out in the parking lot, drives oil temperature in a 200 to 210, 220 range, depends on who it is. Some guys run at hotter oil temp than that. Then so we have to have the pressure for it. Then you go park in a hotel, you camp out overnight. It's 40 degrees, 50 degrees sometimes, has been, sick week has been in the 30s in the morning, and guys run out there and go rum and start the car. Now, you just had oil temperature that was 200 plus degrees, and now you have oil temperature that is 30, 40 degrees. Needs to flow. Even though what you're seeing here is stiction, surface tension on the glass, that's not how it flows. This is certified. It flows a 25 winter or cold flow rate. 2050 flows 20. This is just slightly more, but it has a better hot viscosity, which is the 60, along with different friction modifiers, different rust inhibitors. Don't know the ZZP number right now on zinc, not important. I know it does have it, but it has friction modifiers, anti-wear agents, it has a bunch of additives in here into the base oil stock. Okay, but the cold flow, hot flow is one of the main reasons we did this whole deal. It has been flow tested. It is being flow tested. Driven is a top tier, top notch company. As a matter of fact, it's where Lake Speed came from and started. So they're not dummies about it. Next question.
Now, this is what everybody uses, right? This weight oil in this industry?
Yes. So this is a standard of industry. Please don't send me comment. Well, you can comment all you want, actually. Please comment and tell me how I'm wrong that most pro modified teams, most top fuel teams don't use a 70 weight oil. Okay, go ahead and try to tell me that. That's fine. But I'm telling you that this is the common oil right here. This is a Nitro 70 weight oil. Before this oil here that they made for me, I ran this all the time. I went out and started it up in 30-degree weather at sick week and ran it. So this is a Nitro 70. All right. There we go. This is Nitro 70 weight oil. This is what was all run there. Pretty much. Interesting the color difference there. But anyways, you can see just, I mean, this is just my hillbilly method here. Yes, we can, they have $10,000, $100,000 flow meters that they flow stuff and do things with, but they don't even have a cold rating for this. But this is the common oil that we've run. This is the common oil that I ran before we started using my oil. Now my oil, what oil is in there? Remember, I have been running this oil. The only difference between this oil right here and this oil is the color. That's it. This is much easier to see because it has a dye in it. This is not. It's still, well, here. It's just the dye that makes it very much, you know, so much more opaque. You can just see it better. It's not thicker. It's not hanging on it more. Here's the Nitro 70. All right. So remember, I have already been running my oil. I have been testing this oil. The only difference in between that and the blue oil is it's blue. Exact same oil, blue. But they had to run it all the way back through ASE, had to do everything to all verify that the blue dye doesn't, I don't know, cause problems, do stuff, I don't know, all sorts of weird stuff. They have to make sure that everything that is in this oil is perfect and blends together perfectly and stays blended together perfectly, as it does when there is no dye. All right, so very interesting stuff. Now this is my used oil right after the passes at the pass at PDRA, so it is heavily saturated with methanol because the only thing I did was idle back with a broken transmission, and so it is heavily polluted with oil. But interesting, the less, you know, that's just not bad milk. I mean, I've had this in there all 6 summer and this PDRA pass, so I think that's pretty good. I had some comments about, oh my gosh, that's gonna hold bearing material and is it gonna stick up there? No, this is just cold. This is just stiction on the side. This is not an illustration of how it works. All oil is gonna end up being warmed up and flows properly. It is flowing. It is 25 weight, cold, okay? This is just what you're seeing there. Now, the other thing was, will it hold material up in the oil? Up, you know, if something disintegrates and it goes up, dude, you need to do something else. If you're worried about all the bearing material or whatever stuff is up in your hanging up there in your oil system, you got other problems you need to fix first. Oil ain't it. And we had the thing about sticking. Now remember, Nitro 70, our oil. Now, please tell me why you would want oil to shed off all of your parts and not stick to your parts. Isn't the point of oil to actually get on the part and stick? Might be the wrong terminology, okay? But it needs to be on the part and doesn't need to just shed off. Otherwise, just drain all the oil out and run water.
Where is this available and when will it be available?
Ah, yes. This is made for us. Actually, it's just made because we asked them to make it. This is Driven oil. You buy it from Driven, it is going to be labeled SM oil because I put the time and effort into making this all happen with them. And so it's there, but anybody can buy it. Any engine builder buy it. Everybody can buy it. I hope everybody buys it because I really do think it is awesome.
Worldwide too.
Worldwide. Yes, it is available in the UK. Yes, it is going to be available in the UK. Going to be available in Europe. Going to be available in Australia. Going to be available everywhere. Middle East, everything. It's going to be, and is designed to be, think of the Nitro 70 oil made to flow cold 25. Then we added, I was very particular about, I really want this rust inhibitor in there. So Bill found this super elaborate rust inhibitor called unobtainium. It's really cool. So a lot of different things there with friction modifiers and anti-wear agents, more stuff than even is in the Nitro 70, which is a very specific oil too, okay? This is a less specific oil available to run in a lot more things. Last thing, as I said, I am the ultimate test bed. We can do all sorts of, and they are, and they probably will, and if Lake Speed wants to grab some, which I'm sure they all talk together, they're all still friends, I'm sure they will. Lake will probably test this, it's great. But I really don't care what the anti-scuff is. I really don't care about all that stuff. What I care about is that it lasts in 4,500 horsepower. It flows when it's 30 degrees and flows correctly when it's 200 degrees. And it takes up my bearing clearance, and I saves bearings, and it does all, and keeps valve train alive and keeps things from rusting. That's what I'm all about. That is the test bed. It running in my F350 out there, don't really care. I'm not ever gonna put it in my F350. Could you put it in your race diesel? I don't know. Got to ask Bill, because we got to make sure he'll know if this is compliant with diesel fuel. I'm not sure about that. So don't hold on to that yet. We'll let you know. I think that's it. Now, let's get back over to the video. All right, so one of the things I wanted to check, because I thought that it broke the rear end at first, and then realized that no, it was a transmission, it's like, well, heck, now that we're thinking about it, let's check the rear end, at least do our due diligence. And since Clark is retired, living the good life, doing next to nothing, I said, hey, come over here and take that cover off. So we're gonna have Clark take the cover off, and then I'm over here back on the dyno, but Clark's gonna take the cover off. We're gonna check this thing out real quick. All right, so here's the oil. Oil looked really good, Clark.
Yeah, just normal wear.
Yeah, I mean, this has got, I don't know, probably about 600. It's got about 1,000 miles on it. That looks really nice. There's very minimal. I mean, I think that's all pretty normal stuff. I don't see anything chunky. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. Nothing abnormal there. And so I think the only thing I can understand to do is look at it. All right, now if you don't remember this, or you haven't seen this rear end from before, this is a 12-inch ring gear, which is phenomenal. So this is the back side of the gear. Really minimal wear. You can see the wear pattern on it right there. And then this would be the drive side of the gear. Man, it looks like freaking gold. This is actually a little oil pump. So this turns the oil pump that's on the cover, which I always thought was cool. So I think what we'll do here is, I'm not going to tear this thing all apart. I'm just looking to see, quite literally, if there's anything that looks weird, that is got any hairline crack or fracture, something that is on its way out. This thing is looking mint. That's just oil. I got an idea here too. Let's use the black light. See what that looks like. Oh, look at that. This does not have my oil in it. This is Revex gear lube. It is looking really nice. What I'm looking for is like some kind of fracture or something out here. I see nothing. So I think that thing is really fantastically nice. Big billet spool, huge caps. The thing that's nice about these black lights is it will pick up, like even that piece of lint right there looked like a crack, but it was just a piece of lint. It really shows up very nice. Any kind of fractures or anything. This thing looks great. So I'm pretty happy with that. Gonna have Clarky put it on the cover, and we'll re-oil this back up and rock and roll. Now let's get back to dynoing. All right, so we're back here next day. CJ really wanted this thing to be in the 1500 horsepower range. I don't think it was gonna quite get there with the boost it was making. So even with tune-up stuff, so I was like, all right, let's just change the pulleys on this anyways. If they're spinning a little bit faster, it's gonna make more boost. So I just left the fuel alone and left the timing alone. Why can I leave the fuel alone when I turn the boost up? Not quite sure why it's wanting to sound like that, where it's kind of falls at the very beginning. I'm not sure what the heck is that is about. That was at 22.5 pounds of boost. Our AFR was 12.5. It's really rich down there, so I think it might be so rich it's really unhappy down there. So I talked to Patrick about that. I think we just made it a little bit worse by putting some more pulley on it, because I'd like to get this fuel curve flatter. So we're at 10.17, and that is 12.56. So that's two air fuel ratio points, which is just not right. So let's change the high speed air bleed in it to try flattening that curve up a little bit. And we're gonna check out these the superchargers and see where we're at. All right, so we're taking out these 28 thousandths air bleeds. So this is a high-speed air bleed, which does exactly what it sounds like. At high speed, it bleeds air. At high speed, the bigger the hole, the more air it bleeds, hence giving it air instead of fuel. This will richen up, which means we'll probably end up having to take some jet out of it, because this will richen up the top and would probably do nothing with the bottom, but that 12.5 is pretty close to where I'd like it to be. But the 10 is definitely not. So I'm going to change these air bleeds. I don't have any air bleeds. I had to go back over to Pro Systems, send my guy over there to pick it up. Luckily, they're only 20 minutes down the road. So they're going to pick up the right size air bleeds for this thing, and we're going to put those in and test. And then you'll also notice we're working on the fuel curve, and we weren't concerned anything about the superchargers yet, but the Torque Storm guy said, hey, let's go backwards just a little bit. Let's put the stock blowers on, and we just want to do some little bit of testing here, there. We're just going to experiment here, so don't get hung up on the superchargers. They're not different. We're really just I'm looking for the fuel curve right now. I'm not concerned about horsepower, but we're doing some temperature testing and some other stuff all at the same time. That's what I like about the Torque Storm guys. They're always looking to make this stuff better. So that's always cool. And just learning, and then more learning. So we'll, as soon as he comes back, let's see. All right, well, we got some stuff to figure out. Let's take a look. I know this thing I think we're gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to send this carburetor back and have Patrick take a look at it. Because I guarantee you the AFR is still just too darn moving too much. So there's something going on here that this is not referencing right. So it still goes 13.4. I know they'll fix it. It's not a big deal, but 13.4 and starts at 11. That's 2.5. That's with doing a high-speed air bleed change. So that has definitely got something going on. Funny right there. But that is, I mean, it's picked up some horsepower, but we just changed blowers too. So we're trying to figure out some stuff there. Like I said, all I was trying to do is try to make this fuel curve flat. That is just really weird. So I'm gonna have to get with him and see what they can do about that. And but the reason why we can't finish this up today is it's the end of the day. It's Thursday, and I'm going over. Val can't go with me today, unfortunately, or I don't think she's going to be able to go with me to start the better half Camaro. I was really hoping she would go, be able to go, but that's okay. We're gonna go over there, and I wanted her to be like the first one to start it, since she's gonna be the one that's driving this car. I'll drive it some, and but she's the primary driver. She's the primary person, and we have a big surprise to come on that whole deal, a big one. So, anyways, I'm taking off like here in just a few minutes because I got to meet them over there, and I've got to make our times all meet. So we're gonna end this video. They're gonna have a video Friday. What is Friday? The 8th. Yep. Friday the 8th. They'll have a video up, and you'll see the thing start up, run, and I think we'll drop the big surprise on this whole thing when I'm there. So, I'm Steve Morris. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Leave a comment on the rear end. Leave a comment on the oil. Leave a comment on the small block, which is giving me a little bit of fits. But we're gonna get this thing rocking and right. We just want to make 1,500 horsepower with it, and it's right on target to do that. I just got to get this carburetor right and figure that thing out. So, I'm Steve Morris. Have a great day.